Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Mangg Plays the Best Games of All Time. Last time, we looked at Marble Madness. Specifically, we looked at it on the Commodore 64, but it was originally an arcade game in 1984. Now, we have skipped 2 games on the best of list, and we're going to be skipping a decent number as we go on, for one reason or another. One of the games I skipped was Tetris, and that's because I don't need to play Tetris on video to know that it's one of the best games of all time. I mean, it is. It is. There's not really any doubt. Tetris is amazing. I mean, yeah, Tetris came out in 1984, and I don't even know how much time in my lifetime I've played Tetris, but it's quite a bit, across countless different platforms, different versions. I mean, yeah, it's timeless, so, sure. The other game that I skipped from 1985 was Gauntlet. This was for a different reason. So this was originally on the arcade as well. I'm just going to pause this because we don't have to hear that loop each time. So Gauntlet, yeah, I mean, I fired it up, and I was playing it a little bit, and I just got bored within, like, 45 seconds. It does not age as well as Tetris does. Um, in my teen years, Gauntlet Legends was a big game for us. Unlike the N64. Um, and then they had... So, hold on, let me see. So you had Gauntlet Legends on the N64 in 99. That was definitely big. That, 4-player, 3D, Gauntlet. I mean, yeah, we played a lot of that. And then you had Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which I think was on the GameCube. Yeah. And I don't remember playing as much of that. I remember playing a lot of Legends with my brother. The two of us, yeah. Many, many hours with that game. That was a lot of fun. But even like, yeah, Gauntlet Dark Legacy, a few of my friends and I got together, I want to say like 5 years ago now or so, and we got together like multiple times to play Gauntlet Dark Legacy together. And yeah, it does not really hold up. It's just very monotonous. And that's on the GameCube. And it still is just like, yeah, again and again and again and again. And that's Dark Legacy. Gauntlet, the original, is that times like 100, of just monotony. So, no, there was no chance that I was giving Gauntlet any sort of best game of all time list, and I don't even want to devote 10 minutes of a video to talk about it. So, that's that. We're moving on. So, we're in 1985, and we have Ghosts and Goblins. Now, I think most people's exposure to this game is probably going to be on the NES. And that's going to be true for a lot of games within the next few years. Um, yeah, the next few years are all games that are either originally on the NES or were originally in the arcade, but most people know about it from the NES. I mean, the NES was the juggernaut of the mid to late 80s. There's no doubt of that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I first played Ghosts and Goblins on the NES. There was Ghosts and Goblins, and then there was Ghouls and Ghosts, and then there was Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and I may have played that on the SNES. But yeah, Ghosts and Goblins, the OG. This is the arcade version, and it was a big hit. um, Especially in Japan. It was not ever like the high. It never reached like the number one slot. In America, it hit the ninth highest grossing arcade game of 1986. In Japan, it was the fourth highest grossing arcade game during the first half of 86, 10th highest total for 86. So it was never like number one. And the reason for that is that it's very fucking difficult. uh, Often cited as one of the most difficult games of all time. It's stupidly difficult. To the point of I never considered it to be a fun game because it's just too frickin' difficult, and you'll see it if you've never seen Ghosts and Goblins. I'm not sure why they decided to make it so difficult. It's clearly like some sort of mentality thing because this game is really impressive for 85. I mean, if you look at what other stuff was in the arcade at the time, you had Gauntlet, what else was big? You have like Pole Position was still big at the time. Spy Hunter, um, Pac-Land, Kung Fu Master. I mean, visually, audibly, mechanics-wise, having multiple levels that each have a different theme, a different enemy. I mean, it's really impressive for 85. It's just too fucking difficult. And if they had just made it more casual, I think this could have been an even bigger hit, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe the difficulty was a factor to its popularity, but I would see it as a detriment personally. Um, yeah. So I mean, I guess let's just dive in. I don't think we're gonna get very far. I'll be happy if I beat the first stage. But yeah, I think it's just important to keep in mind while we're playing this that big games in the arcade at this time were like Pole Position and Spy Hunter, Star Wars, I think was still somewhat popular, stuff like that. But the NES came out in the US this year. Hit the EU in 86, but the Famicom was out in Japan for a couple years at this point. So that's a big factor in this like rapid development of these kind of games, that the arcades were changing because the consoles were changing, and it was a I mean, this is the big time now for video games, at least as far as I'm concerned. um this is when we're starting to now get into games that I can really connect with and be familiar with. So yeah, cool stuff. All right. Let's just give ourselves a bunch of credits there. There we have our plot. Our girl was kidnapped. We gotta strap on our armor and our spear, and we're killing undead. So you've got jumping, you've got, ranged weaponry, you've got different types of weaponry. Different pickups. You're still tracking score, you're still tracking time. This was an arcade game. That's just, they couldn't break free of that. Fuck. Alright, so once you take one hit, you lose your armor, and you have to find a pickup to get it back. If I take a hit now, I am dead. Dead as a doornail. Okay, some little... Fuck. Torch is not a great weapon. Yeah, so I remember James Rolfe talking about this game, and how when he first played it, he thought this stage was the whole game. Which, like, as we've seen, that's not, like, a ridiculous thought. And he thought, you know, that map that they just showed was just like some little animation or some, you know, whatever. Fuck. So yeah, to have multiple stages in a game, I mean, that was the new wave at this point. Not just multiple stages, but like multiple different stages. Very nice. Alright, we got a little classic platforming here. There you go. You fuckface. Alright. So, thankfully, we got a checkpoint there, so we start here. It's not entirely brutal. I would imagine the NES versions and stuff, the home versions, probably harder. Because you can't just put more quarters in. Piss off! Oh shit, I did not do this right. Nope. Game over, but I have quarters! Oh, then maybe I'm wrong. I'm an idiot. The quarters don't mean shit. Here, FFF. Continue play, yes. Yes. Yeah. No. What the fuck? I was pressing all the buttons. Alright, well, let's start again. So, I mean, as you can see, like, all the mechanics, the graphics, the sound, it's all there. It's all good. I mean, for 85. It's just, why the fuck does it have to be so difficult? And this, you know, part of it is just the arcade mentality, right? Like, a couple years ago when I was just playing through a bunch of random arcade games, you know, new and old stuff, you just kind of discover that it's like, most arcade games now, like if you play them out of the arcade, are hampered by this overall design mentality based around the idea of making money by people feeding quarters into it. So, a lot of arcade games, if you just play them emulated, you know, don't really hold up because of that. Compared to, you know, later console games that threw away with that more for just the idea of, you know, we just want to provide an entertaining game. But a lot of early NES games and stuff still had that kind of mentality. I mean, you look at Contra, it's an incredibly popular NES game, but it's an arcade port, so it has that arcade... God damn it. You have limited lives, and you just gotta beat the game or start over. Fuck me! And that's that. And now I don't know how to actually press continue. Oh, there we go. It's A. Alright. Okay, well then there you go. We can just... You can just keep going as long as you have enough quarters. Yeah, so, I mean, visually, this certainly still holds up. God, I gotta deal with those fucks, don't I? The sound is a little grating. It's not perfect. Oh, fuck me. Get the knife. Fuck! You can't destroy their projectiles. As I said, I'll be happy to beat the first stage. God. And so I wasn't raised with this kind of mentality. You know, this was before my time. Where it's just you had like one game in your collection that was just hard as fucking balls, and you just had to sit there until you beat it, you know? I was raised with like Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger and oh, now it's not working to continue. What? Okay, fuck me. So ultimately, I think it's a incredible title for 1985. Like, mad respect and all that. Certainly very influential and everything. Important. But, no, I don't think we can say it's one of the best games of all time. Largely due to the difficulty. Fuck me. Yep. Six stages. I mean, can you even imagine? Can you even fucking imagine? I mean, people back then maybe were just built different. I don't know. It's hard to say. And it's like, most people would never get to the 6th fucking stage. You'd put like a quarter in, you'd play through the stage and you'd be really impressed, and then you'd die, you know, partway through the first stage, and you're like, alright, I'll put another quarter in, whatever. And then maybe, if you were really diligent, you might get to the end of the first stage, but 6 fucking stages? Not even a matter of money, it's a matter of, like, time. But, again, I don't know what life in the arcades was like in the 80s. You know, that's just not a time period I'm privy to. And it's like, yeah, I guess if you weren't into, like... I mean, that's the thing, it's like, you know, you had an Atari or something, you maybe had a Commodore 64, but nothing looked as good as the arcade, you know? I mean, the arcade was top-of-the-line gaming at this point. No port of Ghosts and Goblins looks really as good as this. So, yeah, I mean, I could see, I guess, spending a few hours sitting at the arcade on every night, because that's where the hot gaming is. But don't know. I don't know if I would have been in '85 if I was a youth. I don't know if I would have been standing in an arcade for multiple hours on a regular basis to play Ghosts and Goblins. I'd be at home playing fucking Wizardry or something, you know? So, yeah, I think I ultimately have to conclude here that it's not one of the best games of all time, and that's what I had thought going in. Just primarily due to the difficulty. I had never played the original arcade version of this, so I thought maybe it would be different. And it's impressive, but no, not one of the best games of all time. That's the first game on this list from Capcom, though. Let me just see. Capcom. Their first game was Little League in '83. Then they had Vulgus in '84. 1942 in '84. Then in '85 they had Commando and Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah, and then, you know, Capcom became big stuff. And that's because of games like this. They were just really freaking impressive for their time. Alright, so that's Ghosts and Goblins. Next is the third game on the list from '85. And one of the most well-known games on the entire list. You might know what it is. I'm going to do a video on it because I haven't actually played it in quite a while. And wouldn't you know it, it's the first game on the list released originally for the NES. So there you go, we're in the NES era. Huzzah. Alright, my name is Mangg. This has been Mangg Plays the Best Games of All Time with Ghosts and Goblins. I'll see you fine folks next time.